No, not him. Even just speaking his name could result in... Hello everybody, my name is YujimboXD and welcome to the channel, and we're back looking at more mods for Hearts of Iron this week. And I don't know if you can tell just by looking at it, but we got a real doozy of a mod this time. Yes, this is the Make America Again mod, or the What If America Collapsed in 2021 after Donald Trump refused to concede the presidential election. Let's just say their interpretation of what would have happened was certainly a creative choice. So this is actually another highly requested mod, although it is a bit confusing because every time somebody asks me about it, they say, oh, can you play the Make America Great Again mod? And when you look that up in the Steam Workshop, you actually find this mod instead. So I think this mod actually might have two names, or perhaps they had to do a name change after they got sent too much hate mail. Who knows? But I'm not here to judge them on their names. I'm here to judge them on their tasty Hearts of Iron content. And as they pointed out to me over on my community Discord, this mod actually got a huge new update on the 4th of July, the West Coast Wars. So I think that's the scenario we'll be looking at today. So when we look at our key players, we see a few familiar faces, like good old headless Bernie Sanders. Yeah, last time he appeared in one of our mods, I kinda had him decapitated. I'm asking you once again not to cut my head off with a saw. But I think today I'll make it up to him by putting him center stage and letting him speak his mind for once, before somebody decides to remove that mind from his body again. So let's take a quick look at the map, because that last screen did not really give us a good indication of what levels of madness we've truly descended into. So of course we have Biden and Trump, with their factions vying for control over America. Not sure why Trump has an eye patch. Maybe he's trying to score points with the pirate crowd. But then we have some other leaders, like a cocaine-fueled pillow salesman. We also have a man LARPing as a crazy Colonel Sanders, and let's not forget Kanye West controlling the entire Confederacy. Sure, why not? Nothing else makes sense in this timeline, so let's go for it. Might as well fully lean into the crazy. So I'm going to leave Iron Man mode off, and I'm going to leave historical AI focus on. Yes, because if there's anything this mod has in abundance, it's historical accuracy. Alright, so here we are in Bernie Sanders, California, and it looks like they've given us a little bit of a war to start as a treat. Oh, and it looks like I have Seattle too. Well, let's see if I can hold on to that. So I'm having to pick some generals for my new army, and it looks like China has generously offered some of their own field marshals for us to hire. So I think I will, and I bet some of you can probably already guess where I'm going with this. But for everyone else, here is the focus tree. Yes, it's a smaller focus tree, but it will branch out once we pick one of these options down here. But I think for now, it's time to pave the way to a new, brighter future with our Chinese allies. So here's the plan. I will try and hold Seattle while I push north with everyone else. And I have a smaller army going to pick off Oroville over here and clean up this border gore. But I don't have enough troops to fully man this section, so I'll let them play Fallout New Vegas and I'll let them have this part of the Mojave. But interestingly, I don't see any troops on Cascadia's border over here, and they have a bunch of forts that I'd rather not fight through, so what if I can snipe them right now? Well, looks like I managed to capture a bunch of their forts before their troops arrived, so hopefully that'll make future offensives easier. And actually, now that I look at it, the Nevada Free Army is leaving their capital open for me to walk straight into. Surely it can't be that easy. Well, there goes Oroville. And yes, I too was disappointed to learn it had nothing to do with the Seth MacFarlane TV show. But that does mean we can take those troops and put them on different fronts now. And by troops, I mean the Antifa militias I got from LA. And you wanna know the really weird thing? They're the only one of my troops that actually start with support artillery. Not even my National Guard units have that. So at least they're well armed. Well, got their capital. Geez, I didn't even see it, but we had our own form of ISIS somewhere. Well, glad I don't have to deal with them. Well, I didn't manage to hold on to their capital, but at least I got a bunch of their troops encircled. Oh, looks like it's the Fourth Mormon War. Gotta sing over this song because it's copyrighted. You can have your little war, but sooner or later, Mormon God's gonna cut you down. And it looks like Vegas just declared independence. War's not going disastrous, it's going fine. What are you complaining about? Well, I'll deal with them later. Well, our focus tree is forcing us to do some peace talks. So I guess focus tree knows best. We'll just do what they tell us to for now. Well, they're asking us for Seattle as part of the peace deal. You know what? You can have it. It's too far away for me to do anything meaningful with. So we lost a little bit of land, but at least the peace negotiations are over. That seems to have left you in a little bit of a pickle, hasn't it, Nevada? So even after we do finish Nevada, we still have a Pacific Fleet problem. They inhabit a bunch of islands right off our coast, and it looks like they've been gelling our cities. Yankees. I'll deal with them as soon as I finish with Nevada and their complete refusal to capitulate until every last single one of them is dead. Geez, finally, I really did have to fight them to a man. Dang, that's a lot of resources. That kind of softens the blow of losing Seattle. Well, there goes my dreams of reconquering Las Vegas. I'll just have to get it from the Mormons later. And it looks like Jeb got his own super event. Please clap. Oh, it looks like I won't have to worry about the Mormons because the American Reich is actually taking them over now. So we got a free spy agency and we need to pick some new spies. So I think we're going to go with a spy who's very observant. Who am I kidding? He hasn't played Hoy in years. But you're always welcome to come back, Drew. We're waiting for you. So I just realized the Pacific Fleet actually controls Hawaii. That's where their real capital is. And considering I don't even have a navy, I don't know if I can actually do anything about them. But I don't think they have an army, so I don't think they can do anything about me. So like most of my problems that I can't do anything about, I'm just going to ignore it. So maybe I wasn't paying attention and I got navally invaded, but that doesn't explain why they have these pockets up here. I have no idea what just happened, but I can tell you I know what's about to happen. Well, it looks like we're battling in the streets of LA. I expect no less than 5-6 cool movies to be made about this. Well, I had this focus called Operation Honolulu, and I think that was supposed to give me an event that allowed me to attack Honolulu, but it looks like they decided to do Operation Get Our Entire Army Encircled in California. So I'm happy to help them out with that little plan. And as soon as I took San Francisco back, they white-pieced with me. Interesting. Oh, that's because the Pacific Fleet got taken down by Hawaiian insurrection. Thanks, Dave. You did me a real solid there. Come on, Joe. Don't quit on me now. Our battle was going to be legendary. You haven't gone full Woodrow Wilson yet. So I neglected to mention this earlier, but China did donate like 8 divisions to help in our wars. So now that we've won our little wars, they're offering to help us with our political burdens. You helped us shoot our fellow Americans, so I'm sure I can trust you. I don't know what's more interesting, the fact that we can hire Dwayne Johnson as an advisor, or there's something that can exist called the celebritist state of Hollywood. I'm not gonna lie, had I known that existed at the start, I probably would have played them. Well, Drew's back from his successful mission of spying on the Nazis. I think it's time for his next assignment. We're gonna go send him to go clap them cheeks. Well, to actually begin our descent into communism, we need to do some classic purges. So it's time to purge the fascists, which is just anyone who doesn't agree with me. And now it looks like Cascadia is having to deal with a little civil war. You hate to see it. Well, I'm gonna use this opportunity to siphon off some of your manpower. I'm sure you won't be needing it. So another thing I did neglect to mention is they do have a bit of a customized research tree. You know, who doesn't want an armored Toyota Corolla? But what struck me as really interesting is quantum computing research comes before cloud computing research. And I think that's probably the most upsetting thing I've seen in this mod so far. I was going to actually them, but I didn't think anybody wanted to hear me ramble on about quantum computers for several minutes. Well, we reached the bottom of the first focus tree, and I think it's time to establish the new order. But I think we're going to get something much better instead. And there he is, Comrade Commissar Bernie Sanders. Now America can have a Mao of its very own, just like we always wanted. And as promised, here is our new focus tree. And I think the first order of business is to take advantage of the chaos in the north. Actually, come to think of it, now that we're communists, we can manually declare wars. Oh boy, those are some long justification days. Well, that should give Drew some time to raid Area 51 and get down to some important business. And it looks like we're planning on nationalizing some big tech industries. Oh, what's the matter? You didn't want to nationalize Google instead? You'd get control of YouTube, and we all know whoever controls YouTube controls the world. And while the Chinese generously donated their leadership for a while, I think instead it's time to show these other pretenders how you lead from the front. Alright, Cascadia is still fighting their little civil war against liberty, but I think it's time we got our revenge. I was sort of forced into this peace deal, so I would like to have my Seattle back. But while we're at it, I think we need to purge all these fake communists. Oh yeah, you think you're a real communist? Name every Marxist ever. So they don't have their lines fully covered, so I'm going to just do the same strategy I did last time in Russian and take their forts. But I have even more manpower this time, so it should be even easier. And I don't have to manage 2 fronts. Well, the good thing about outnumbering them is that it makes it very easy to surround them. And it really is a snowball effect. The more the AI panics, the easier it is to surround them. Well, I have them cut in half now, and I just discovered their cipher. So I think that will put the final nail in the coffin for this war. And there goes our rival. We'll still have to get Seattle back, and I'll probably have to fight Liberty for some of this land. Oh, and somehow Hawaii got swept up in this deal. Well, they managed to snipe that too, and made some border gore, but that won't last for long. Well, that also created the problem of I can't get to Seattle now. Well, it looks like I'll have to give them the Schlieffen plan treatment then. Oh, I stand corrected. There is a little sliver of land that does connect me to Seattle. Well, I'm still not going to cancel this justification. You really earned it after you made this mess. There we go, snipe Seattle from Liberty. Well, part of it anyways. Well, the Chinese have generously offered to be our military police, so that will free up some of our manpower, but that doesn't mean I'm going to completely bow to them, because Bernie doesn't want to be submissive, he's more of a power bottom. Well, for some reason my justification against Area 51 canceled, so instead I think I'm going to go after the Silicon Republic. Let me guess, it's Elon Musk leading them? No, not him. Even just speaking his name could result in... Well, I think we're just gonna have to risk it anyways. Wow, turns out bullying tech nerds is really easy. Well, it looks like Kanye got assassinated and the South is splintering apart, so I think that'll make them easier to pick off in the future. But the real boogeyman I'm sharing a room with is the Loyalists, so my plan is to get as much land as I can before I go to war with them, although I probably will ignore most of Mexico. It's called Make America Again, and last time I checked, Mexico is not America. Well, there's basically no resistance left in Baja, so I think it's time we clean up our border gore with Liberty. Because boy, I haven't seen gore this bad in a while. Here we go, that was really easy. Oh, why'd you release Hawaii? I really wanted that. Well, I'll take what I can get, I suppose. Alright, I need to speed up this unification. Time to bring the West Coast to heel. Alright, now that we have our justifications in hand, it's time to take down Deseret. But I'm going to leave Area 51 alone for now. I'm going to let Drew enjoy himself for a little bit longer. Well, we can breathe a collective sigh of relief because the Silicon Republic is no more. There we go, really getting the snowball effect going now. Alright, Drew, you had some fun. Now get out of there and you can have yourself a cigarette and rehydrate. Now it's time for the official raid on Area 51 to begin. There we go, got Area 51. Well, I was going to go after Texas next, but they actually seem pretty well situated behind this river, so I think instead it's time to go after Trump and his loyalists. Besides, they look a bit busy fighting the anarcho-capitalists in Milwaukee. Oh, and it's led by John McAfee.
I mean, it's always there. It's watching. It's been watching me for years. Every time I turn on the fucking computer, it's there looking at me.
Man, a lot of cocaine-fueled leaders in this mod. The Loyalists have seemed to have death-stacked their troops in Montana, but their heartland looks less defended. So what happens if I slam my divisions in through there? It's actually going better than I thought, but the only problem is I'm constantly running out of supply now. They gotta be feeling the pain now. I just picked up like 40 new military factories, but they're still death-stacked in the West over here, so I guess they'd rather have Daddy Trump get picked off first. There we go, did a bit of reorganizing and the offensive has started again. Man, I have no idea why they're so much stronger in the north than they are in their center. But you know what? I'm not gonna complain, because this is where all their victory points are. I wasn't even going to mention it, but there's this tiny enclave called Hammer City attached to Texas. Gonna get rid of them too while I'm at this. There we go, I put the hammer down. And in other news, it looks like I've cut the Loyalists in half. Okay, I don't know why Biden and Trump got their own super event. Biden isn't even in charge anymore. This should be the real headline news. There we go, I was getting to reorganize again, but I don't have to now. There we go, I pretty much got everything in the peace deal, even this piece of Maine. Now to just finish off Montana. There we go. That's the West Coast cleaned up. I'm just declaring wars at random at this point. The focus tree is completely done, and I don't have any decisions to declare wars on them, so I'm just manually doing everything. So it looks like we're manualing our way to the end. Once I got the supply lines fixed over here, things became much easier. There we go, one antivirus software creator down. Oh, and I got green Minnesota in that deal too. Nice. Up next, Texas, with the Zodiac Emperor. But what I think is more offensive is the fact that this man is actually a Canadian, so he's gotta go. I guess I should do something about this encirclement. Geez, there finally goes Texas. Getting through the heartland was easier. Fighting through the bayou was a different story altogether. Up next, the shoe-wearing Vermin Supreme. Yeah, the only issue is the game's been going on for a long time now, so everybody has an ungodly amount of divisions. There we go, he's down. Only a few more left to go now. Well, we've made it to the East Coast now. I think it's about time we found our hammer and sickle a forever home. Oops, I may have just gotten a bunch of my divisions encircled. There we go, at least we got them separated from their puppet now. Oh, there goes Virginia. Jeez, they clung on to life dearly, but the federal government is no more. But really, I'd just call this a mercy killing. Well, it's just parts of the South left to go now, and because I don't want to sit here justifying wars for another 2 hours, I'm just going to allow myself to declare war on everyone. Well, there goes the Klan. I'm sure if you told them they got taken down by a Jewish communist, their head would spin. There we go, now the CSA is collapsing just like their grandpappies did. There we go, the CSA is no more, and they even had some ironclads we could steal. Now all that's left is one little mini Trump. Who needs supply when you have overwhelming numbers? Oh, Florida, always the trouble state. Alright, there you have it. A mere 11 years later, America is reunited, under the watchful eye of Comrade Bernie Sanders. So, that was the Make America Again mod. Final thoughts on the mod. I enjoyed it. I actually thought the Custom America map they have here is actually really well done, and it is deceptively large, hence the constant constant need to build supply lines everywhere, which is always a bit annoying in these mods. But yeah, overall, not as strange as I expected it to be. It sounds weird on paper, but then once you get into it, it actually starts playing like a regular mod. But maybe that's just because I was playing the new content. They haven't added all the weirdness yet. So if I come back, maybe I'll look at the East Coast next time for a more cursed playthrough. But all right, that is where we'll leave it off for tonight. Thank you all so much for watching to the end. If you like what you saw, you can always hit that subscribe button down below. And if there's any other games or mods you'd like to see, let me know down in the comments below. All right, till next time. And remember, when the man in front of you falls, pick up his rifle and shoot.